Sam Darley here, and today I'm going to talk to you about last night's Texans Panthers preseason opener, what I like, what I didn't like, and also the Houston Astros continue to fall out the sky. Last night, I loved what the Houston Texans did last night. There's some good, some bad, as always in the preseason game. I'll start with the bad. The bad, I thought, was the Houston Texans. Obviously, the weakness is there in the secondary, but then again, they got J.J. Watt back, they got Clowney back. Honestly, if they're not getting pressure on the quarterback, I have huge concerns about their pass defense, whether or not they can go man on man against some of the top offenses in the league. Obviously, pressure creates rush throws, and rush throws could leads to interceptions, or leads to more chances of interceptions. But if Clowney and I get pressure, the Texan defense has to find a way to play good complementary football. I also thought the penalties were too high. The Texans were one of the most disciplined teams in the league last year. Last night they committed too many silly penalties that allowed Carolina to continue drives and push the ball down the field and score. Houston's defense did essentially bend but not break last night. They gave up a couple field goals. They gave up a few big plays. Christian McCaffrey for the Carolina Panthers, I think, proved last night why he was the 8th overall pick. I know a lot of people are concerned about his size, but I think a little guy like that, you have really nothing to worry about. It's just about durability and how many hits he can handle. But I do think he fits the complementary role next to Jonathan Stewart. I think Carolina instantly has a strong run game. My concern for Carolina is Cam Newton. He didn't play last night. A lot of people say he doesn't need to play in the preseason. But I think you want to know I think you want to see how the arm is after shoulder surgery. And you obviously want to work off his rust. My question is, will he miss any potential regular season games? I think that's a question more for Ron Rivera. It doesn't seem that way, but he missed last night's preseason opener. For the Texans, I would say the bad, Tom Savage wasn't great. In a quarterback competition, when you get a chance to play in the preseason like he had last night, he went 9 of 11. Last night he basically showed me that he's really another Alex Smith. A guy that's not going to put you in harm's way, not going to turn the ball over. He's going to protect the ball, but he does have a better arm than Alex when he's not as athletic as Alex Smith. So, realistically, last night I think Houston's quarterback competition took a sour turn for him. I think Deshaun Watson lit it up, in my opinion. I mean, he's a rookie quarterback. He'll have his struggles. But for the most part, he showed me why I think Houston took the best quarterback prospect in the draft. And 2, I think Houston's now got a bright future. They both, Savage and Watson, took a lot of hits last night. Offensive line is something they need to really address in the next 2 off seasons. But Watson can make plays that Savage simply can't. Savage is still a statue in the pocket. He doesn't really have much of a pocket presence. He doesn't really read or feel pressure very well. And that's the one thing that alarmed me last night. This is his 4th season with the Texans. He's had 300 prone seasons. And, against the Bengals last year and the Jaguars, and even the Tennessee Titans, both teams put pressure on him, and he couldn't really feel it. He couldn't really sense it. You know what I mean? The internal clock wasn't ticking. And I think for him, if that internal clock isn't working for him, then he's in trouble because he's predominantly a pocket passer. The Texans, with Watson, have a much better chance, I think, of being explosive offensively. He gives them, like I said, more of an athletic, more potent attack. They're faster, more athletic, and there's certainly more opportunities for playmakers to make plays because the defense has to be honest of Watson's legs. Last night, I thought the Panthers stacked the box a lot last night. A lot of that has to do with the Houston quarterback situation. And also Tom Savage just not proven that he's proven not to take many chances down the field. So what does it leave the Texans? I think the Texans quarterback situation, at least for week 1 of the preseason, showed that Watson has the leg up. And he does, and like I said, he makes plays that Savage simply can't. I think Watt looked good. He looked healthy. That's important for the Texans' defense. You know, they were clowning on the defense, and you got Merciless, and you got McKinney. They're loaded up front. And my question is, can they play? Can they play up to par in the secondary? So secondary and offensive line really stood out to me. Those are the two areas that really need to be shored up in the next coming years. So, but they'll take on the Patriots in week 2 of the preseason, and Houston will look to try and figure out the quarterback situation. I think if Bill O'Brien's eye test was like mine, I think he saw the same thing that I saw. Watson, to me, made plays that Savage simply can't. I mean, I know it's a preseason, but there's areas in which both quarterbacks need to work on. Watson plays very well in the pocket. He's smart. He knows when he's running. He needs to slide. That will greatly help him in his career. Savage, on the other hand, needs to work on his internal clock. Like, when pressure's coming, he needs to be able to feel it, sense it, and get rid of the ball quicker. Know the best matchup that he can take advantage of. And honestly, Bill O'Brien's offense still looked like Bill O'Brien's offense. It wasn't explosive. It wasn't better. You could say they were moving the ball down the field, but they weren't putting touchdowns on the board, and that's the bottom line in this league. In a scoring league like the NFL, you need to put touchdowns on the board, not field goals. So it's still the same offense. We'll see what happens in week 2, the preseason, and the third important preseason game is against the Saints in New Orleans. So Texans preseason is underway. I liked a lot of things. There's a lot of things I didn't like. Texans certainly have a lot of things to work on. I like Carolina's run game. I think their defense is going to be really good. They're going to be really good up front. Again, my concern is Cam Newton. Will he be ready to go when the season starts? So I guess it's just a wait and see. Let's see keep an eye on that in the coming weeks, and we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously the Texans quarterback situation got a little bit interesting last night between Watson and Savage. Whedon, my concern is whoever starts, the backup is going to have to stay healthy. That means that if Watson starts, Savage is going to have to stay healthy, otherwise the Texans are screwed if anything happens to Watson. And something the other way around. If something happens to Savage and Watson gets hurt, they're stuck with Whedon, they're in big trouble. Speaking of big trouble, the Houston Astros got absolutely pounded by the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox are 20 games below 500. The Astros are now 29 games above 500. They're 11-14 since the All-Star break. They continue to fall out the sky. They've gone from 17 games up to 13 games up. They didn't make any moves at the trade deadline that really helped them. I mean, Francisco Liriano has been a tragedy at best coming out of the bullpen. And the Astros have seen the Seattle Mariners wiggle their way back, almost back into essentially somewhat contention. They're 13 games out now after being 17 games out. There's still about 6 weeks left to go of the regular season. The Astros, to me, they have got to make a move. They've got to get pitching. The pitching is awful. And literally, this is the weakest part of their schedule, the second half of the season. And they can't even take advantage of it. They got beat by Detroit. They got beat by Tampa Bay. 2 out of 3. They've lost every series coming out of the break almost, except for the Twins series. That's the one series they haven't lost. They lost the series to two really teams that they should be beating the living daylights out of. The Astros, like I said, the pitching is struggling. Everybody's blaming injuries, but I think it's because Dallas Keuchel got hurt feelings that the Astros didn't do anything at the deadline. Keuchel made comments that the Astros didn't improve. They were 17 games up at the time. I do blame Jeff Luhnow for not having the guts to go for it. The Astros have a nice core. They got built around it, but they showed unwillingness to sacrifice some of their top prospects to go for the championship and get either Garrett Cole or Chris Archer or even both. They have a strong minor league system, but you know what? That doesn't win the World Series. What wins the World Series is pitching, bullpen, defense, and timely hitting. The Astros aren't getting any timely hits. Their bullpen is struggling. Their pitching rotation is in shambles. And quite frankly, I think they're going to miss the playoffs. I think if they do indeed blow the division, then I think Jeff Luhnow should be fired. And I think if they blow the division, I think you can also put Hinch on that firing seat too, because I think both of them are just inept. They are. There's no reason for one of the best teams in the league to be struggling this badly against mediocre squads. Hinch has got to figure out a way to get this team back on track. His team, again, has gone completely off the rails. If you remember, 2015, the Astros got off to a hot start in the first half of the season, and in the second half of the season, they played below 500 baseball. They can't play below 500 baseball before the playoffs and think that's going to get them through October. It's about getting hot. It's about getting things right. This is the time of the year when the Astros should be gearing up to make a big run. Getting healthy is one option, is one way to get going. Obviously, they got George Springer back last night. They're still waiting on Carlos Correa. Lance McCullers is back on the DL, and now there's question marks about Dallas Keuchel's health. There's nothing wrong with Dallas. He's just got a sore ego. The Astros, again, I'm going to say it again, the Astros need to sabotage some of their farm. That's not the right word. They need to sacrifice some of their farm. Because I'm going to be honest here. The Astros they're nothing but potential. And potential, like I said, this doesn't win championships. Drake McClain understood that. That's why he continuously gut the Astros farm system around Biggio, Bagwell, Bertman, the Killer Bees, and Roy Oswalt. He tried to win the World Series. It didn't work, and the Astros ended up rebuilding. That's how sports is. You try for championships, and when you don't get them, and your core gets old, and it gets to a point where it's like, okay, now it's time to rebuild, then you start rebuilding. But the Astros are contenders, and they fail to make a move, and they're starting to pay the price. The Mariners are 17-9 since the All-Star break. I honestly think they're going to storm back and take the division. But I guess we'll see. We've got 6 weeks left of the season. The Astros will take on the White Sox in Game 3, and we'll try to avoid not getting swept by one of the worst teams on planet Earth. This has been Sam Darley. Thank you for watching.